Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Riva Robinson. I'm here at the Cooper Clinic here with Meridan Zerner. There she is the registered dietitian and nutritionist here, and I'll let her tell us more about herself.
Well, I have had the privilege of working at the Cooper Clinic for about 17 years. I've been in health and wellness for 27 years.
Wow.
And I'm just quite passionate about helping people live a better quality and quantity of life.
That's wonderful. That's what I'm all about too. As a physician, exercise enthusiast, you have to fit everything into a balanced life. So it's great. And you also teach group fitness classes here as well, right?
Yes. So I love wearing lots of different hats, and it all kind of comes together too. So you can talk about nutrition, but if you're not eating well, or rather if you're not moving well, sometimes you can't really get everything you want to get out of that. So I choose to teach. I teach spinning classes. I teach Pilates classes. I teach seniors, which I love. There's a way for everyone to move. I mean, you could be in a chair, you could be sitting at your office desk, you could be traveling. There are ways to move. And, that's just huge. It's huge for stress management. It's huge for that just sense of empowerment and well-being. I mean, it's phenomenal for just obviously maintaining your weight. So absolutely. On any given day, I might be visiting with patients and helping them with their nutrition. And if I'm not there, I'm over here teaching the class.
That's wonderful. I mean, it sounds like you have a lot going on, from the RD job to teaching classes. You're also a mom, a wife. How do you fit everything in a balanced life?
And would never want anybody to think it was easy, but it is very intentional. And so I really do spend some time thinking about, here's my week, here are some things I know that I need to get done, not only obviously for the home front and for the kids, and then my time for fitness and movement. What can I throw in the crock pot on Sunday that's going to set us up for Monday and Tuesday? So it does take some thought. But honestly, the return on investment, when I think about, okay, I have to devote 30 minutes to plotting that out, makes everything go a whole lot easier. And you know what else? I ask for help when I need it. I didn't used to do that when I was much younger, but when I, need to just buy the veggie tray because I just really don't think I can cut up the vegetables that week or whatever, or ask my husband for a little bit of extra TLC, just so we can get it done, I really do reach out. I would ask a professional for help. I would ask a physician for help, a physical therapist for help, when things just aren't, you just don't have to do it all yourself.
Right, and that's key, especially as women. I think a lot of times we think that we have to do it all. Like, I'm a woman, he doesn't know what I know about this. If I want the job done right, I have to do it myself.
Right, and I do love some independence, but at some point we are in this together, and certainly there are wellness professionals that have dedicated their lives to being there for people, to helping them. The other sort of lettering behind my name is a CWC, a Certified Wellness Coach.
Okay.
And I feel like sometimes the hardest piece is just the head game, the behavioral change, right?
That's
so
everything.
I know what I'm supposed to be doing, I'm just not doing it. It's that person. So I think that there are people out there that can speak to that, and certainly a counselor, but the wellness coaches that can really help just get the ball rolling and help keep it rolling when life gets in the way.
That's amazing. Right on key. All right, so I saw you working out the other day. You're extremely fit. So was there ever a time when you weren't as fit as you are now?
Absolutely. And I can't say that I was ever like 200 pounds overweight. I've certainly helped people in that situation. My journey was a little different. So I actually broke my neck as a teenager.
Oh, wow.
And in a C1, C2 area, which is pretty high up. And I got lucky, basically, but it gave me a deep, deep appreciation for mobility, basically being able to move. And so it just was always, from that point forward, important to me that I stay strong, that I don't, set myself up at all. And so, later in life, the movement and what I had to do to stay strong also helped me with just mood. So I would describe my exercise regime as like a personal Prozac, really. And you know what, it makes me a kinder person. It makes me a calmer person. And I kind of like who I am and how I view the world a little bit better if I've had some movement or some exercise.
That's an incredible, inspiring story. I mean, so many people in that same position would just give up and succumb to their circumstances after suffering an injury like that. So, amazing. All right, so you did mention that you didn't personally have an incredible weight loss journey or anything, but for people who are 50, 100 pounds overweight or even more, it can be incredibly discouraging to initiate that process. They've tried dozens of diets and sometimes even surgeries that haven't worked for them. So what would you do in your position, or what do you do in your position to help keep these people encouraged and help them with lasting change?
And I like what you said, the lasting change idea part, the sustainable part. And so sometimes when people, even with their best interest at heart, they may try certain diet plans that aren't necessarily well-rounded. They may not be balanced. They may not be sustainable. And so I really like to go back to the beginning with most folks and say, okay, here's what's going well in your life right now. So let's really work from the positive. How can we kind of piggyback some of these other sort of initial challenges on top of what's going well? Mm-hmm. And let's look at small goal setting efforts. And because truly that's where you get this change is one after the other, and then, voila, we've lost 25 pounds. Voila, we've lost 50. And, some of it is walking beside somebody and being their cheerleader and their loving accountability, so that when you do get that, oh man, it's just 2 pounds lost or it's 1 pound to change, you're like, yes, hang in there because there's more to go. And I just think it's so important that you've got a physician, you've got somebody who's laying out a plan that is truly tailored to you. Because for me to say, go power walking, but you don't like to be outside because it ruins your hair. I don't know. Right. Or, eat only salads, but you don't like leafy greens. Truly, that doesn't mean that we can't be successful and healthy and inspire change. We've got to find something that works for you. That's usually where I come from and feel like has been successful.
That's great. I love it. So I have a list of common questions that I get asked. And as a physician, I had 2 lectures on nutrition in medical school. And all my other nutrition knowledge has either come from my own personal research. I, just feel like a sponge now, just trying to get as many books as I can, learning nutrition the proper way.
Well, me too. And I've done this for 27 years and I'm still learning.
Yes. When people ask me specific questions, I generally have a good idea of what to tell them, but I'm going to ask you and see what the RD's perspective. All right,
I'm ready.
All right, so what is the best diet?
Ooh, the best diet is the one that you'll stay on. And that takes into account your likes and dislikes. Mm-hmm. I believe in kind of an 80-20 rule, meaning that 80% of the time it's kind of good, supportive, clean eating. It's kind of the stuff I think we know, but not to the exclusion of the other 20%, which is, food can be fun. We want to have a glass of wine sometimes. Maybe we want to have a cupcake or, whatever that might look like. Mm-hmm. We just need to budget for it.
Yeah. Just like money.
I think if you were to kind of look at a broader brush stroke, I would say, hey, I think the research looks pretty favorably on like a Mediterranean diet. Mm-hmm. Whether you call it an anti-inflammatory diet or a plant-based diet or Mediterranean diet, some of those I feel like are interchangeable. Sure. But for today's human being, and you know what, it's the it's the millennial body basically, where we do sit more, we commute more, there's more technology, it's just a different equation. And so we really want to respect, okay, what's going on today in an environment where you've got food everywhere you turn. So the diet has to reflect what's going on today. So it's kind of like, all right, let's take the individual, let's layer in some of these ideas from maybe the Mediterranean diet that makes sense for them, and then look realistically, all right, what else is going on in your environment?
Mm-hmm. That's great. Yeah, its environment plays such a huge role. Especially for so many of these millennials who are, traveling so much.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're going to be on the road 50 weeks a year, how are you going to prepare all those healthy meals yourself?
By the way, you can fit lots of stuff in your shoe when you pack. You can fit a little pack of protein powder, you can fit some almonds, you can fit, some dried fruit in the shoe.
All right. I will keep note of that for next time. Because you have all that dead space inside of there.
That's right.
Great. All right, so what do you believe is more important for weight loss, diet or exercise?
Ooh, Good question. You know what? There isn't. You really can't do one without the other, to be honest. And so, I mean, I think the research looks at, okay, you can get an initial greater weight loss manipulating the diet, but at the end of the day, exercise is absolutely essential for maintaining that weight loss. And I'm looking at how do we make it work, you know, for the next year and then 5 years after that. And you need the exercise to develop the muscle tone so that you can eat more food. You know,
I like food.
I like food too. So I can't ever even have a conversation where these two things aren't deeply intertwined. I don't think you can say one over the other.
Right, and food is such a huge part of our culture.
Yes.
You know, so figuring out how to make the culture work for you and your weight loss journey. You know. Great. Next question. Cardio versus weights. What is more important for weight loss?
You know, I would almost challenge each individual. Okay, what is your goal? What's, you know, we're really looking at how can we refine this? That's again unique to the individual. So, cardio, number one, in that it's the best thing you can do for your heart, and it probably doesn't get any more important than that. So at the end of the day, just for, you know, good health and staying alive and all that other good stuff, I would have to lean on cardio.
Okay.
I have such deep respect for the power of resistance work and weights, because if you want to, you know, get tremendous physical change faster, if we want to prevent injury, like weights is where it's at. So I would have to put cardio here, but man, the weights are right there, neck and neck.
Okay. So what do you do personally?
I have probably, on any given week, I would say I'm moving 5 to 6 times a week. I will always have one day off of just rest and repair and recovery and whatnot. I probably have 3 times a week weights, and I do that intentionally to stay strong. I also know that's the recipe for bone density, so I'm absolutely going to stay on top of that.
Especially for women.
Especially for women. And then I've got cardio, probably 3 to 4 times a week, emphasis on 4. And sometimes during the weights day, I might infuse like a little interval of cardio in there too. But I intentionally vary the type of cardio, so I don't want a lot of impact because I'm not 20 anymore. So
joints do wear down.
Yeah. So there's some days that it's a phenomenal power walk. Some days it's like a jog and a bike combo. You know, in a day that I teach my spin class. So I want it to be lower impact more often than not. But at least I'm kind of thinking about there's lots of different ways to move, and it's not always just killer up here boot camp high intensity.
Right.
It's like in the middle, and then it's down here, and then we kind of visit.
Gotta mix it up.
Gotta mix it up.
I love it. Good stuff. All right. So is there a difference between eating raw and cooked vegetables for overall nutrition?
So this is a question where there is like the raw diet, and it's very hard for me as a dietitian to say, oh, you know, why would I ever have a problem with like eating vegetables and fruits and things like that, which I don't. I'm only challenged by the fact that there are some foods, like tomatoes, let's say, where you can actually get more nutrition out of them when they're cooked.
Yeah, I recently learned that.
So
lycopene, right?
Yes, more lycopene and other phytochemicals that protect our cells. So the bottom line is eat lots of fruits and vegetables. I think, you know, massively overcooking them where we lose vitamin C and whatnot, and completely drowning them in sauce is where we run into trouble. So, you know, if somebody chose to do a raw diet, I would support them. But at the end of the day, I also want to look at, hey, there's some opportunities to cooking the vegetables, and that's okay. Plus, let's say you as an individual, maybe you don't like raw carrots, but you'll eat them cooked. Or maybe you don't like cooked carrots, but you eat them raw. Well, it's a win.
Right.
It's
so
a win no matter what.
Better to get them in any form than not to eat them at all.
Yes.
So, great. All right. And speaking of other foods, does eating fat make you fat?
Oh, no.
I like fat.
No. Period.
Thank you.
End of story. You know, I grew up in the 80s, represent, with the leg warmers and the headband and the whole thing.
They're all coming back too.
Yeah. And you know, at that time we really thought, boy, fat's that's the problem. You know, if we cut back on fat because hey, it's 9 calories per gram, carbohydrates and protein are 4 calories per gram. Trying to just do basic math, okay, well that we could get a change here. But so no one ate peanut butter and everybody ate too many snack bowls, cookies, and anyway. really coming to find out, hey, we've got fat soluble vitamins, we've got things in the body that really benefit from fat. I always want to make the distinction of what kind of fat, because there are some that will do more for us. We have room for a little bit of anything. Okay. So a little butter is okay.
Great.
If I had the choice of, hey, could we have avocado as our fat choice, or olive oil as our fat choice, or nuts as where we're going to get some healthy fat? Yeah, totally choose that because that's going to do more for my heart health, that kind of thing.
Sure. So do you cook with butter?
Here and there. In general, you can't make a good chocolate chip cookie without butter. And
you need cookies.
Yeah, every now and again. So there's some things where I just think, yeah, this is where I want to devote my little bit of indiscretionary calories, right, to that. I try to do a lot of cooking with olive oil, and I like to use grapeseed oil. I have an avocado oil that's wonderful as well. So if I can do it with some of those healthier oils, I choose to. But I don't fear a little bit of butter. We can make that work.
Good. I like it because I feel like there's so many people out there who don't want to eat butter or don't want to eat bacon and these type of fats, which aren't great fats, but in certain proportions they can actually be beneficial.
Yeah, nobody has done anything bad, if they have a piece of bacon. And I think actually that we run into trouble when we do demonize a food or a food group and say, okay, this is, because at the end of the day, there's probably something in there. I mean, we even need a little cholesterol, like a little,
Right.
So I think that health is in the gray, and when we start saying, oh, that's bad, and that's, kale's the only thing that's good, it's right here, it's right in the middle.
Right. We gotta have it all. All right, so there are so many different health trends out there, from intermittent fasting to juice detoxes, apple cider vinegar detoxes. Are there any of those that you actually believe to be beneficial, or should we just try to have a balanced Mediterranean type of diet?
Again, I kind of have to go back occasionally to a personality type, because some people really need a lot of structure, and they may really need kind of a very focused, intentional jump start. Even that I'm going to tailor to the individual. So occasionally there is decent research around intermittent fasting. It's not my first choice. I'm usually looking at if we can get a good calorie level and it's a Mediterranean base and they're seeing change, why would I go to something more intense and aggressive and harder to sort of live in the real world with? Right. Occasionally I'll have somebody where they'll hit a plateau and I want to use that to just sort of shake things up. That's fine. Occasionally, if somebody wants to do a day or two of a juice fast, juice cleanse, okay, a day or two is not going to sort of make or break anyone.
2 days.
My personal, I feel like at some point you need to get the protein in, or we may be breaking muscle tissue down enough that I'm like, well, a couple days isn't going to hurt anybody, but I don't really want to see weeks and weeks. They're just going to be cranky, first of all. So I use those tools as needed, but that's not usually what I lead with out of the gate.
I see. So use it for like a plateau or to change things up to get another boost and to build morale, rather.
And sometimes even just to regroup, refocus, set some new goals and just kind of have this be a period of intensity, knowing that we're going to need to level off because we live in the real world.
Yeah, and it's nice to sometimes change things up because diets can get monotonous if you're eating salads and, chicken breast all day long. So, good. All right, one last one of my common questions I get asked: should people have a cheat day?
Oh. Maybe. Now, you can easily eat enough in a cheat day to unravel your entire week's worth of effort. So
don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that. So a cheat day within reason, a day when you plan for some of your favorites, sure, and really do it right. Don't just eat like the grocery store chocolate chip cookie. Get the real good one that's warm and really savor it. Yes, absolutely. Some people, like myself, would choose to take that idea of a cheat day and do like a little tiny, sweet, small treat every day.
Yeah,
small, right?
Yeah.
So you can either do kind of maybe a cheat meal makes more sense than a cheat day.
Okay.
Or kind of take that idea, those calories, and kind of just do a little something each day, which may work for somebody else.
And that goes back to your 80-20 rule
Yes.
we were talking about before. So 20% cookies, 80% vegetables.
Vegetables. Yeah.
All right. I think my sister would like that title out. She's the cookie monster. Oh, awesome. Okay. And what would you say your guilty pleasure is?
Wow. I have several. I do like a warm chocolate chip cookie. I mean, there's something magical about cookies. Where all this comes together, it's magic. I actually like the little German gummy bears too. I don't know. They're worthy. So I kind of have a sweet tooth. I could probably live without, nachos or something like that, but I definitely appreciate a good solid, chocolate mousse from time to time. So I would say that's absolutely my guilty pleasure. That would be my go-to above and beyond anything else. And I will usually budget for and, carve out the opportunity to do that and truly enjoy it.
I love it. Chocolate, more chocolate and cookies too. Good. Okay, so I have one final question. Stole this from another entrepreneur that I follow. I don't know if you've heard of him. His name is Lewis Howes. Anyways, he always asks his guests at the end of the interview, what are you most grateful for in your life?
Okay, so out of the gate, I'm grateful that this question isn't like, if you were going to be a tree, what kind of tree would you be? Because I don't know. So I like this better. All right, so what am I most grateful for? I am so grateful for the ability to move, and that movement translates into my ability to be, I hope, a good mom and a good spouse, and hopefully a good motivator for the people here.
You definitely are.
I hope that energy translates. I hope that strength translates. I've certainly appreciated the strength that comes from it, not only literal strength, but I just I literally feel like a stronger person psychologically because of that. So truly grateful for the ability to move. Certainly, I would always be grateful for my family, my kids. Amen.
Great. Well, that's all I have for you. I really appreciate you taking the time out with me to let me pick your brain, because as a doctor, as I mentioned, I don't have all the answers on nutrition. So having somebody who's a specialist is really helpful to
Well, and it's
know
nice
what
for me
do.
to know that there are people like you out there too, that we're kindred spirits. We're working, together.
It's a team effort.
Yeah.
We can't
So you'll
do
need to
anything
listen to
alone.
Dr. Rita.
All right, guys. Well, I'll catch you next time. Thanks for sticking around. Bye.